Sway is one of the apps available if you have a Microsoft or Office 365 account. If you don't, I will put a link in the description to create your own free Microsoft account. You can create a new one, you can import from a document, but what I'm going to focus on today is start from a topic. If you log into sway.com and you don't see this button in the middle, refresh your screen by clicking up here, or you can do Control-R to refresh the screen. Start from a topic is really popular with students because a number of times they have a presentation, but they have trouble getting started. So watch what happens. I'm going to click on Start from a topic. When I taught elementary, my students used to write an essay on Disneyland. It makes a great 10-paragraph essay. I'm going to type my topic and then click Create Outline. Within a few seconds, it has built a basic structure for a presentation on Disneyland. You can see it's put in a title, a background image. As I scroll down, it has history, lands, more images, put in text cards, operations. Everything is ready to get my Sway presentation started. I'm going to go ahead and click on play in the top right corner so you can see what it would look like. And again, all I typed was the word Disneyland. I'm going to go to Edit and then Design up here at the top, and then over on the right, click on Styles, because personally, I prefer the vertical format. The kids love that it looks like a website. And then you can scroll down and look at the Sway that has been started for you. Teachers will appreciate the annotations, and it also has a reference list at the end of the images that it auto-generated for you. Now, I don't care for the way this is. You can't hardly see the word Disneyland, so I'm going to click on the Remix button. That's better. And this gives me a different look. I encourage students to use that because they can get an idea of what their presentation could look like without going through a dozen fonts and backgrounds and colors. They can just simply click Remix. Now, because it's more vintage on the history of Disneyland, I kind of like the black and white. And then it's ready to go. And now I can go back to Storyline and make some changes. For example, the history of Disneyland. It gives some suggestions of what you might want to write. For me, I'm going to write about Disneyland opened to the public in July 1955. It was nearly built in Pomona, California. Once done, I could highlight, I can emphasize my text, which is bold. I could accent it, which is italics. I also have the option of bullet points, numbers, or putting in a link to outside websites. So this is definitely a tool that really helps students get started on their presentation, kind of giving them that extra push that they need without having to deal with a completely blank canvas. It also might be a good way to introduce outline, since it has a history section for heading and then lands. That's one of the reasons I used to use it for my 10-paragraph essay. There are 8 lands in the park, an introduction paragraph, and a conclusion paragraph. And I did that with 2nd graders and with 5th graders. They were panicked when I first told them that we were going to do that, but by the end they loved it. And I'll put a link to that lesson plan in the description.